Hello and welcome. I'm Anna. I'm so excited you're here. If you're just joining me, thanks for being here. If you've been here before, this is my fourth attempt at a mandala. This one turned out probably the best of all of them, but is still not the best mandala you've ever seen. I'm starting by folding the shirt in half. So in the other ones, I've been doing sleeve and sleeve, which basically puts the mandala on the front and the back of the shirt. For this one, I wanted to do just the mandala on the front and see if that would help my lines stay crisper. And I don't know if it did, but it definitely gave me a lot more room to tie the sinew really tight because there wasn't as much fabric. So anyway, here I am finding the center of the shirt, picking it up and centering it there. Then next what I'm going to do is find where I want the center of the mandala to be, which I like to be like right where the armpit is. Maybe a little bit lower, but I like it to be right in line with where the armpit is. So, and then for this one I did an airplane fold. So I'm just folding it into a quarter fold here, and then folding it back on itself. And then I flip it over and fold it that way as well. And then for this one, I just drew little zigzags. I made the zigzags a little bit shorter. So in previous attempts, I made these zigzags like the angles a lot deeper. For this one, I wanted to keep them a little bit smaller and see if I couldn't get sharper angles doing it that way. So that's what I'm doing here. And I'm just using sinew to wrap around the fabric. I wrap it about 3 or 4 times and then I pull it tight. And then for these ones, I've been doing it again, just pulling it wrapping it again a couple times and then pulling it tight again. Somebody told me that gives you crisper lines. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure if I noticed that much of a difference between doing that and just wrapping it like 5 times and pulling it tight, but maybe it does give a crisper line. I still just don't have crisp lines in general, so that's part of my problem. Another thing I've learned, I think I mentioned this on another video, but I'll mention it here as well, is I like to do the subsequent ties from the bottom. So I wrap it around the bottom. Well, that one was over the top on the line. And then for this one, I go under the bottom, if that makes any sort of sense, when I go on to the next zag. Right now I'm zigging. Here, I'll show you. Right here under, so you can see I went under there so that the 2 edges connect as best I could get them to connect. Alright, so I got to the edge of this mandala and I decided I wanted to add an extra one. So here I just did a little extra one, and I don't think I should have done that because this mandala ended up being huge on the shirt. but it looks cool, but wouldn't be for everybody. And then the excess I just kind of scrunched up, as you can see there. So the first color I used was Tangerine. I put Tangerine on the mandala part of it. That's another thing I tried to do, was kind of separate out what part is the mandala and what part is the outside. So I kind of tried to use two semi-contrasting colors. Tangerine is the color I'm using right now. It's one of my very favorites. It splits like orange and yellow, and it's just got a really cool split to it. So that's the color I'm using there. And then I added on some ice. These are some like produce bags that just kind of keep the ice in place. I'll link those below. Those are on my Amazon storefront. And I used the color Stormy Sky with the dye over the ice. And then I put the dye, or I apologize, I put the ice on top of the dye for this part. I just kind of let them balance there because it was pretty flat, so the ice kind of just sat there. I did apply a couple more rounds of ice to the mandala part of it. The other part didn't require more dye, but you can see it probably could have used some, because you can see on the underside there it's still a little, the color didn't go all the way through. So I probably should have added more ice, more dye to the other edges, but it turned out cool still. So here I just untied it and I'm rinsing it out. I rinse in cool water and then I bump the water up to hot, and I rinse it in hot water until I can get out as much of the excess dye as possible. After I do that, I use some Blue Dawn dish soap. That's what that was right there. And I get it really sudsy, and I rinse it in hot water with the Dawn dish soap. Then I put it in my washing machine on a hot cycle, for just a regular cycle, but with hot water. And then it's pretty much good to go. The dye doesn't transfer or anything like that. So anyway, this is the final mandala. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. It's not my favorite thing I've ever made, but it did turn out pretty cool. The back needed more color, but you live and you learn. Anyway, thanks for following along. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out, and we will talk to you soon.